Hey guys, it's me, Sassacomary3, and I'm here today to do a video I've been meaning to do for a long time. I thought it would be interesting if we sat down and went over all of my canceled projects, and oh boy, there's a lot, because if there's one thing I'm good at, it's thinking of an idea, announcing it way too soon, and then just dropping it after a week. So I thought it would be fun to kind of key you in on what those projects were going to be, how they were going to turn out, and just what went on behind the scenes and the creative processes behind it. Now, these are going to be for big projects like movies and series. I'm not going to go into things like the short films or sketch idea that I just ran out of inspiration from. All of those, anything that was good was actually put in the Webkinz shorts. So if you're wondering what happened to all the sketches I never did, that's where you can find them. Now, some of these projects were in collaboration with people that I no longer speak to, and for that, I just want to say this video is about the projects, not the people. So if you look for some hot tea, go somewhere else. You're not going to find it here. That being said, if any of these projects spark some inspiration in you, or you feel like you want to pick up where I left off or continue it, because that might actually be a decent idea, go for it. I really don't care. And for the people that I collaborated with, I kind of doubt they would care either, because they don't seem to be into Webkinz anymore. So I'm like the only one that hasn't given up on these things. Anyways, oh kitty, hi! We should probably delve into our first project, and I want to say these are in no particular order at all. The first one I'm going to talk about is one I still get asked about to this day, and that is Webkinz Storytime. So Webkinz Storytime was going to be the stories of my Webkinz drawn in a storyboard style, so quick art, minimal shading, just to get the point across. The main idea of that was to make it so it would appeal to people outside the Webkinz community, because then it'd be like, oh, it's stories about animated dogs, cats, whatever. I figured that would be a nice way to bring in a different audience, because KinzTube is very small nowadays. That concept in of itself is actually pretty decent, because I like story writing, I have all these stories, and then I could just show them in a nice artsy style, which, you know, the animation community really took off anyways. But I announced it way too soon. Had I had a little more foresight, I don't think I would have announced it when I did. I was just like, oh shoot, I have an anniversary, I need to do something, I need to do something. Hey, why don't I just announce this really big project? And that was a bad idea, because the project legitimately was good, people got excited for it, and then I just went completely silent on it for years. I had no idea how much work something like that would be, and I missed a very key feature, and that is I don't particularly like drawing a bunch. I'll draw once in a while, I get some enjoyment out of it for a little bit, but it is definitely not my passion, and you can see we're having a series where it's a bunch of drawn images can really wear that down on a person. My initial idea of how I was going to make it was that I was going to finish the script for the audio, and then I was going to draw the pictures associated with it. Of course, I wrote the first draft because I'm like, I gotta have multiple drafts just to be sure that this is really good, really high quality. So I got about halfway through the first draft, and then I decided I don't feel like writing right now. I'm just gonna draw stuff for things that might not even make it into the second or third draft. So I'm already creating a bunch of drawings for things that might not even make it into the final product. But the little preview that people actually saw for that anniversary video of Anne Marie's story, that was written up in a flash, drawn up in a flash, everything on it was made in a pinch, and there is nothing else besides what you saw there for Anne Marie's story. My initial story was going to be for Luke, because, you know, it's not like his hasn't been told a billion times. For Luke, I gave up when I got actually at 89 images. I'm surprised I made it that far. The biggest problem that was coming in was that these were meant to be quick sketches that I could do in like 10 minutes, and I am a little bit of a perfectionist, and that's why drawing takes me forever. Seriously, reference sheets take me like freaking 20 hours to draw. This is why I don't do commissions. But I started running into a problem very quickly, because these are quick sketches and I was just trying to get a certain amount done every day. I was like, if I get done 10 every day, then I could get done like one of these episodes every 3 months. That's the idea. And I was doing all these quick sketchy things, and then, you know, I started to really not like the artwork. It just wasn't very good. Now, like, I kind of want to go back and redo it, but I'm like, no, that ruins the point. I don't want to spend all of the time working on this again when I could be working on new stuff for it. And it eventually turned to me hating the art. I haven't even looked back at the writing. Basically, it turned into, I don't like this. The concept is good, but I don't like this. It was an absolute mess, to say the least. And yeah, while I still think it's a good idea, and I still sometimes think, maybe I should pick this back up, I'm not going to. I just don't enjoy drawing very much, and I don't really feel like telling these stories again and again. I feel like implementing them in different ways. So, good concept, bad execution, and just really bad burnout is what caused this one to be canceled. Speaking of series that were announced way too soon, Wind Hearts! If you remember this, you're either a really old viewer or you haven't been able to get my horrible singing out of your head. I wanted to try something original and make my own song or something. I'm not a songwriter. I'm not a songwriter. What can I say?
Okay. I'm gonna have to stop you right there. So, all of these jokes that I'm making about this terrible singing I did, and how all they ever saw was this intro I uploaded randomly out of the blue in like 2013, so I kind of lost that file, and a lot of these jokes hinges on me kind of showing it because I had no idea the file was lost until editing this. And yes, I have searched for Wind Hearts with and without the, actually I haven't searched without the space, hold on. And yeah, there's no results. So what happened is, first I put the video on unlisted because I got self-conscious and embarrassed about it. Then I put it on private because I realized I really didn't want anyone seeing it again. And then later on I realized, what's the point of even having it on the channel? I don't like having just random private videos on the channel, so I just deleted it altogether. It is very, very rare that I completely lose video files like this because I am a very organized person and keep files from like every single video I have ever made, ever done. All of it, it's here. It's not in any of my backups either, so it's just lost, and it's a shame because I really would have liked to watch it with you and cringe at it. Just know that it was really, really bad. Okay, now back to the actual video.
Wind Hearts was meant to be a darker series with a completely linear story where you had to watch everything in order. It was going to be about, I think, 5 house cats. I actually don't have any scripts or any notes on this series at all. This is a pretty old one. I think this was from like 2013, but I was convinced I was gonna do it, and so I uploaded the intro, which was just a bunch of, oh god. Okay, because I don't know when to stop embarrassing myself, I'll recreate what I remember, and I'll be real, it's only like the first part of the chorus and the ending. So, yeah, I didn't even save the music for this, it was so bad. The chords don't even go together either. I don't even think I was singing in key. I don't know. I think I was capoed up higher, hold on. Being in our fire, in the back of our mind, in the chaos in the sky. We're being subdivided. I sure hope that wasn't E minor. That sounded so bad. With the wind in our fur, in the back of our mind, in the chaos in the sky. We're being subdivided. You know, the E natural sounds even worse. Oh my god. We've got wind hearts, wind hearts. I swear I'm Jesus Christ. No. No more of this. God darn it. By the way, if you for some reason download the file and have it sitting around your computer or something, please send it to me. I'd love to have the original back. Okay, we're done. Lots of people criticize my singing, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. Anyways, the story behind this was going to follow, I think, 5 house cats. It was going to be 2 of my signature Siamese, because like that's all I had at the time, Ash and Anne Marie, And then it was going to follow my signature marble cat, Jane. She was like the old elder. And I think Callie, my signature calico cat, was going to be in there too. I don't remember if the 5th character was Kylie or not. I think it probably was. Kylie's my signature ragdoll cat. The idea was the first episode was going to be them just introducing the characters and their daily routine. They were going to be house cats, and it showed them running around the neighborhood and interacting with each other. And then the second episode, I don't remember what was going to be for that. But basically there's going to be some fillers, some padding, some more introductions to things that happened. Anyway, somewhere around like episode 4 or 5, disaster was going to strike. A tornado was going to wipe out the subdivision. And then they were going to be forced to live as street cats and go out on their own and have journeys, and Jane was gonna die, and no one likes the Warrior's Journey books for a reason. This one I think is actually very good. It got canceled because that's about as much as I had with it. I just liked cats, and I felt like, hey, I want to have something about pet cats, so I'll put all my signature house cats in it, and I was actually struggling with 2 names, which was Subdivided and Windhearts. Obviously, I picked Windhearts because tornadoes. But there's gonna be some connections. Obviously, Jane is Callie's mother, and Ash is Anne's father. There's still gonna be stuff like that, so it's gonna be some family moments, and of course, Callie and Kylie being very distressed when their mom's dead. But that's about it. I never went very far with this idea. I lost interest very, very quickly, and yeah. Now I feel it's probably time to talk about a series that either you might not remember, or if you do remember it, you don't remember why you remember it. I'm gonna be real, I've kind of blacked this entire series out of my head. There's 2 whole seasons of it on my channel, I think. I haven't gone back and checked. I don't remember if we ever finished season 2, but I didn't mention the name yet, did I? The series is Count on My Love. This was my first collab series. So it followed the story of Whiskers and another charcoal cat that was owned by someone else. I actually don't remember his name. It was just a really quick one-off thing that I did with the neighborhood boy. There was no script, there was no plot line. We just like, hey, you want to film? Sure. How about this just happens? Everything was completely random and spur of the moment. There was no planning. It was like a soap opera on improv. Actually, describing it like that, it sounds like it'd kind of be good. Basically, I don't really know how it would have ended because we never got that far. The funny thing is, like, 2 of the characters on there's like Elizabeth and Randy. They're charcoal catkins clips. I think Randy was his, but when we stopped being friends, I still had him at my house and I just never gave him back. So, he never asked for him back. I don't really think he cared about Webkinz. Anyways, let's move on to a different story. Let's talk about a lighthearted story. By lighthearted, I mean death. There was a time that I was really into LPS, believe it or not. When I say really into them, I mean kind of. I still liked Webkinz a whole lot more, and I only got like, what was it, like 15 LPS, and they're still somewhere buried deep in my closet, but I decided it would be fun to make a series with them. That never aired. This was one thing that I, surprisingly, didn't announce prematurely. The title of this series was LPS Soul Sisters. The concept behind the series was that it was going to be a mother and her single daughter, and then the father was going to die, and the daughter was going to be very lonely, so the mother, to make up for her child's loneliness because she was a daddy's girl, was going to adopt another child. Yeah, I'm trying to get the logic with that too. But the actual story itself, I remember being kind of sweet, if not really badly written. The thing is though, I've got a treat for you. There is a fully finished first episode of this series. Music, dialogue, lighting, sets, completely edited and rendered, and several different versions of it rendered because I wanted one with no music, and I even have a special blooper reel for it. What? So, let's have some fun and let's watch this right now. So, the first episode is called Pilot because I literally did not know until actually recently, it's kind of bad, that Pilot is the pitched episode and not what every first episode of everything ever is called. I wish I knew that a long time ago. Anyways, let's sit down and skim through the first episode. Oh, listen to that classic music. I do know that those sets were kind of hard to make, but they were also very fun to make. I know lots of people use plastic, and everything for me is cardboard.
And so Daddy's coming home today. Yes.
Oh, no, he's not, sweetheart. Oh, look. Oh my gosh, I remember that's what phones used to look like. Holy cow. Sad moment coming up. Can you guess what song is getting used? Oh, there it is. Why does everyone use that song? It's not even good.
Your father won't be coming home tonight. Then, when will he be coming home?
He's dead, honey.
Never. What?
That voice crack.
The train your father was on. It was going too fast and hit a curve, and your father didn't make it. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, hold on. I have to pause this. This little child probably doesn't know what death is. You probably should explain death to the child first. Just saying. Okay, let's continue with the cringe. Oh, run off screaming, sweetheart, like that's gonna change much. And those stairs. I will say, I still think, oh, the great font text.
Notice that you've been lonely now that Dad's gone. And I thought that you needed a friend, someone to play with. So
oh my god, I forgot about that LPS. That one's adorable.
What time does she leave? Caitlin, she's your sister now that I have adopted her. Sister? And you will treat her like a sister.
Oh,
but
wow.
I've never had a sister. You do now.
Wow, the mom didn't even confront her before doing this. That's kind of cold. Oh, that's actually not a half. Oh, the duct tape on the window.
So, I guess we're sisters now. Yeah.
Oh, remember that
so.
The neck on that LPS clicked
Well,
really
let's get your
bad.
bags. Why don't we go outside and play?
Oh,
And
isn't
play
that like the
house
only
and
LPS toy I ever had?
Cool. So,
Why does the quality
How
look
old are
so
you?
bad
I'm
outside?
5.
And Caitlin just immediately becomes okay with this after 2 minutes. That is, no. 9 years later, so they would be 14. Oh my god, I love those cats though. And they haven't even redecorated the room in 9 years. Oh, the bad paper door. Why do all the outside scenes look like they're in such bad quality? I don't get it. Okay, this is where the problems are really apparent with the camera.
We could skip school. No way! What are you thinking?
Oh wow, the acting.
We're going to be late. Coming.
Okay, that's the end of the first episode. Oh, click here to see bloopers. Remember when annotations were a thing? Jeez, okay. Okay, so clearly the writing was not good. But I will admit the premise is kind of cute, but there's a lot of major flaws in it. And I found out filming LPS is really, really bad. You can't just like set the camera on the table because that alone rests it too high for these little bobbleheads. So that became a problem. But what's interesting about this is that I didn't just write one episode. No, I wrote 5 freaking episodes. Hold on. I don't even remember what's in these. Let's load these up for the first time since like 2012 and see what's actually in them. Episode 2, The Fight. So they come home, complain about homework, then they reminisce over the freaking sandbox, and Caitlin turned into a jerk, being like, that's my playhouse because Dad built that for me. Caitlin, I've never seen you act like what? Like this? And then she hits her? What the heck? Wait a minute, she was like so cool with her and completely frenzied for 9 years, and then suddenly she's pissed because, you know, you're not my blood sister. It doesn't matter. What is this? And then she immediately regrets the fight and tries to find Kathy, but Kathy's ran off, and Kathy spends the night outside in the playhouse because she's mad at Caitlin. So there's random talk about not liking a girl that's moving away because she's a brat. They still don't know where Kathy is. Caitlin goes to school, and it's just like, no, I don't know where Kathy is. And then it just ends. What is this? Hold on, this is worse than I remember. What the heck is episode 3? Forever Gone? What? So Caitlin comes home, her mom's like, no, Kathy hasn't come back. And then they're gonna put up some flyers like you would for a lost puppy instead of contacting the police. Oh, and Kathy's there thinking of memories with Caitlin, saying, you'll always be my sister, and just I love you, ow, blah, 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 blah. Oh, finally the mom goes to the police station. Kathy's still going around complaining that she is hungry. Meanwhile, Caitlin is so mad that she did something to Kathy, and a customer is being a jerk to her mom at work. And her mom works at a fast food joint and is able to support 2 kids? Hold on, where's the realism here? I don't remember who this Tessa character is, but the police talk to her about Kathy, and Kathy's still going around, and the police suddenly recognize her, and she runs away, and then she trips over a sandbox, hits her head, and is knocked unconscious, and then the police take her to the hospital. Police aren't that nice. Let's see what's in episode 4. I'm just having a great time ripping this to pieces. Apologies of Hope. What are these names? Okay, so the nurse leads the mom and Caitlin. I forget what the mom is actually named. I just wrote her as mom in all the scripts. Okay, so they come to the hospital. Then they go to meet Kathy. And Kathy is very confused about everything. And her mom just takes her home. She's knocked out cold, she's had a concussion, and she's just allowed to walk out when she No. Oh god, I did not know how concussions work. She wouldn't even be able to, like, walk out of the hospital. She'd probably fall over or something. Jesus Christ, she was out cold for hours. That's a really serious concussion. Okay, and then Kathy's saying she'll never run away ever. And the nurse is a sassy little jerk. You know, the mom says, thank you. Oh, I finally get a thank you. It's about time. Why is everyone in this universe the embodiment of Tally? They're all a Karen. Why? Oh, and then the mom wants to play Crazy 8s. The girls are all okay. And Caitlin's back to being a jerk. What's in episode 5, I wonder? Okay, this is the last one. I didn't have a name for this one. I don't know if it was actually finished. So Caitlin walks in. Her mom's not there. She went to the grocery store. Oh, no, I remember this one. She bumps into Patrick, who is a Persian cat, by the way. And at the store, Elaine! Her name is Elaine! That's... the mom's name is Elaine. And he just asks her out in the checkout. And like, okay. There's also nothing here to mark scene transitions, and it's driving me nuts. From here, back with the girls, they're arguing over a coin that they don't have. Something about a card game, because that's all apparently they can do. And her mom's sitting down to say that she has a date. And Caitlin is really mad. Meanwhile, Kathy is like, I don't see a problem. He wasn't my dad that's dead and being replaced. And the last thing I wrote was the mom that is gonna go upstairs and talk to Caitlin. Thank God there's not more. Except we haven't gone over the bloopers yet. If I remember, these might actually be pretty funny. LPS Soul. Ah, then we got some different music. Everyone's used this music to death. Let's see, get ready to see some of my worst group sound. No. Stop. It's not the worst. Oh, she's setting the camera down. Take 1. Yeah, that phone never worked the way I wanted it to.
I have to start using a different technique, aren't I? Yep, I'm gonna have to get tape.
That's what you should have been doing in the first place.
Stubborn tape. Got tape. Hardly visible. Now let's just hope it doesn't stick. It didn't stick.
Okay, never mind. That was actually pretty funny.
Kind of like that.
Why is there a piece of paper to mark tile? There, success.
Wait, where was I at the script?
It doesn't matter. It's not good anyways.
What?
I use that tape. Yes, good ending. Child dies. Please don't do what I think you're gonna do. No, that's how the lens got scratched.
Big entrance, yeah.
Wait, how the fuck did I get out? Oh, good. What is? You know, LPS are very hard to move. I see why people now, when it comes to videos, just like tape a paperclip to them. Oh gosh, the lens is actually really filthy. Wow. Okay. An hour and a half. That's not very long. Shut up. Shut up. You don't know anything yet. You don't know anything yet. So that was LPS Soul Sisters. I think it was a good thing it got canceled. That was not very good. There's like a lot of actually really good LPS. You know, LPS is basically dead on YouTube too, isn't it? I haven't heard anything like LPS Tube in a very long time. No one seems to upload there. Just kind of like HintsTube. Got parallels seem to, you know, meet. No, they don't. What? So this next one was another collab, and this time it was a movie. The person I was making this with, there's no reason to hide it or dodge around it. It was Crazy Cat 743. And yes, we got the name from that LPS series that I did, because it was kind of like, hey, that was actually a good name that you had for that. How about we use that for something else? It's like, okay, and I think that idea came up later on with something else, because Soul Sisters is actually a pretty good name. So the entire concept behind this revolved around our 2 gingerbread puppies. She got me my gingerbread puppy. If you weren't aware, mine is named Beverly, hers is named Paige. The script that we had is a lot of notes in a few select scenes, but the basic premise was this. The family that had these 2 children were very poor and could not afford to keep both of them, so they gave one up. Years and years later, the child is never told that she has a sister, and the other one is never told that she's adopted. And eventually they bump into each other, then they find out that they're actually sisters, and then their parents try to get them together and try to make them like each other, and they really don't until the end of the movie when friendship triumphs all, and they really are sisters. So we had the cast and the main characters figured out. For Crazy, it was obviously going to be Paige, which was her gingerbread puppy. And then her best friend was going to be Blair, which was her wolf puppy. And then for me, of course, Beverly, my gingerbread puppy, and her best friend was going to be Celsia, my snowflake puppy. And then Bev's adopted mom was going to be Mila, my husky. And I know that Paige's mom was going to be a Dalmatian, although we never wrote her in here as part of the cast. And I don't know who the father of either one of them are, but yeah. Anyways, the idea was that, of course, Paige's family was broke, but Bev's family was rich. And we decided it should be Bev, because Bev, Verly, Hills, haha. Oh, the Dalmatian's name was Taya. I see that in the script now. Okay. Basically, the first scene was the baby going away, and it was just going to be a dark street, like an alley, with barely any light. The Dalmatian hands off the baby to the peppermint puppy, crying her eyes out, going, please, take care of her for me. That was really dark. You could have just had the kid be at an adoption center or something. I don't know. And that's it for the first scene. So there's a 15 years later. So these 2 babies turned 15 years old. And then it was going to be something really cool, where it faded into the house, but then on each side, one side would be Bev, one side would be Paige, and just be a split down the middle, and yeah, it was actually going to be kind of, I like the little editing notes that were put in here. And there was going to be crossfades back and forth, showing their different lifestyles and their different decoration techniques to show these are kids that have been raised very, very differently, yet they still act somewhat similar because they're sisters. And then it was just like Bev going downstairs, getting her food, talking to the butler or whatever, and Paige running down the stairs quickly to meet her parents to get cereal and shove it down her face before going to school and stuff. And basically the 2 meet up with their best friends and walk to school, and that was about it. And then the scene they meet, this is actually funny. They're going clothes shopping with their best friends. And their best friends mix them up because they're both at the same store in the same dressing room. Blair is saying like, oh, you know, I'll find some stuff for you. And then Celsia walks up like, hey, I don't want to be picking out that dress, but you know what? I know where some earrings are. Let me go find them for you. It's like, okay. And then she goes back in the dressing room and Bev walks out. Blair comes up to her like, what are you doing with that? That's so fancy. You're not able to afford that. Stop it. And Bev just kind of like, okay, I don't know you, Blair. I'm just gonna go back into the dressing room. And then Celsia comes back and both the friends are there, and then both Paige and Blair walk out, and it's like a huh, oh shoot. Then it's kind of a, oh yeah, sweetie, you're adopted. No! Thing with Bev. But then it comes possibly one of my favorite scenes. It's where Paige comes over to fully meet Beverly's family. Like, their 2 families get together, you know, like, oh, you're the ones that adopted our daughter. Well, you're the ones that gave birth to our daughter. I do like this opening line where Paige comes in and she's like, dang, this is your place? It's so fancy. And Bev's just like, where'd you expect me to live? Under a rock? But then I think Crazy wrote this scene, but it's really, really funny. Basically, imagine this really fancy, elegant room. You know, like white plush carpets that your feet sink into 4 inches. White couches, gold trim and stuff. Just imagine like the fanciest, ritziest room, and then they destroy it. Okay, in reality, I don't know how we would have ever done this scene without fully destroying the Webkinz, but basically Bev dumps a bunch of sugar on Paige, saying, maybe that'll sweeten you up. And then Paige pulls into, maybe that's why Mom kept me and gave you up. And it's oh shoot. Bev tells her to get out, and Paige goes to leave. And Bev throws a sandwich at her. And then Paige turns around, and Bev throws another sandwich at her. And then Paige throws cream at her. And they get into a food fight, but they end up laughing because the butler gets a pie in his face or something. See, I don't know how the heck we would have done this with Webkinz without destroying them. No, that would not have come off. And then the last thing on the script is just them both getting really upset that their parents have another bed for them for whenever they sleep over, because they're sisters now. The rest of this is just a couple of notes that, I'm gonna be real, I haven't skimmed through at all in a long time. So to be honest, like I said, this was a lot of fun. We knew it was cliched, but it was just fun. It was actually not half badly designed from a conceptual stage, because the idea of having these two characters that live in separate worlds, the idea was that each one of us could film our own characters, and that when we needed to put them both together, we could do those scenes at a time when we met up. But there still were some issues for that, because the scenes that they were meeting up, they're going to be at Paige and Beverly's house. Obviously, Beverly's house, all the sets and all the pieces and stuff were going to be here with me. And all the stuff for Paige's house are going to be with her. Obviously, if we only got 1 day to meet up, which really we would not have been able to film a full-length movie and all of these scenes in 1 day, there would be inconsistencies. We'd have to recreate some of Paige's room here at my house, or some of Beverly's stuff over at her place. There would be a little bit of a continuity that would break some immersion, and I guess that you just have to take that hit if you want to do it. I think she lost interest in it because it just stopped getting work done, and then eventually I stopped working on it, and yeah. Like I said, I still kind of like the idea for the project. I don't think it's bad, it was unfinished, and it just wasn't going to work out the way we wanted it to. But the last thing on my agenda is another movie that you might remember if you look back at the beginning of my channel, I never shut up about, and that was Emily's Life. I gave up on this movie years and years ago, and I think I kind of went into some details about it. It's, completely public about what happened with it, because this is yet another project that I announced way too soon. Why does this happen so much to me? Basically, it was the story of my Webkinz love puppy, Emily. The idea of the story was that she lived in Tallahassee, Florida, and then her parents uprooted her and moved her all the way to Kentucky. And she had to get a whole new life there. And then, of course, she had her friends, which I actually don't remember who her friends were. And then she had the bully with the boyfriend that actually ended up being her boyfriend at some point, So you got the mean girl, which was Shelly, my brown dog. And then you got the boy that was played by Glacier, my husky. And then you had the disgruntled best friend of the bully that was Sunny, my tawny pup. And it was gonna be, she's the new girl. This girl hates her. She thinks she's after her boyfriend, but she's not. And then finally everyone sees Shelly's a jerk, and everyone gets rid of her. And then Emily gets Glacier, and then they get married, and they live happily ever after and have a whole bunch of kids. It was cliched as heck, but there were a lot of problems with it. The characters, we got the parents, Puddles and Georgia, and then they have all their kids. You got Lexiana, Emily, Lucy, Junior, Courtney, Champ. Yes, they have 6 kids. They're one of my favorite families growing up, so they had a whole lot of kids. I don't know how they keep giving birth to all these candy-colored kids when they're a Cocker Spaniel and an American Cocker Spaniel, but I don't know. The whole thing was very, very cliched, but there were some other problems with it. When I filmed the stuff in Florida, when I actually went on vacation in Florida, the rest of the stuff was going to be filmed here at my place, and I actually got pretty far in. When I edited it, I had over a half hour, I believe, of footage, but there became a problem. So I decided to organize the clips a little bit, and I put them in a special folder so they were all in one place and they were named. And when I went to reconnect the video files in the editor, it connected all the wrong ones because lots of them shared similar names, like MOV0601. But all those MOV061s were in different folders. Well, it decided every one that had that name was the exact same file. And and so I went through and I fixed most of it up, I think. And then I was like, okay, I can keep working on this now. And then I kind of was like, And then the computer that had that project and everything on it died. The hard drive failed. There was really, really bad corruption, I think. We actually couldn't recover any of the data from that drive. I did have a backup though, so I still do have the files to this day. But I decided there's so many issues with that, and the story was super, super cliched, so I didn't see much of a point in finishing it to begin with, and it had been more trouble than it was worth. So that is when I said, okay, this movie is canceled. It is completely done. And I think, good, it was probably a ripoff of Mean Girls. I say probably because I've never even seen Mean Girls. But we all seem to have an idea of Mean Girls at some point in our lives. You know, like once every 10 years, someone rewrites Mean Girls. But yeah, those were all of my canceled projects that I can at least find and recall. I actually have some more things that I just won't admit are done and canceled. I swear to God, I will make a movie one day. I've learned my lesson. I'm not going to announce things prematurely. It might not even happen. There might be a part 2 to this in a few years, and that might be on it. And if you're wondering why Signature Island is not on this list, it's because it's not over. I'm just slow, okay? The next episode is mostly written. I want to go back and fix up some things. I just haven't had any motivation to do it. And with everyone being stuck at home, it's like impossible to film because my dad is such a loudmouth. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed hearing about me failing over and over and over again and making fun of myself when I was like 13, 14, whatever. So I'll see you in the next one. Later.